We are back here on the Sweat. Told you hockey was coming, and here we are. Thanks for being back with us. Geoff Ulrich returns after his golf talk earlier. Of course, DK contributor. We welcome in for the very first time. We have got AJ Schulz from RotoWire. Thanks for being with us, man.
Yeah, happy to come on and talk some hockey.
Yeah, we'll be gentle. Well, I will be. I can't speak for Moose here, but we'll do our best. Let's get into it. Of course, not only DFS, sports betting as well. We'll save that. Let's start with daily fantasy. And, looking at tonight, at the center position in particular, guys, you've got four of the highest priced centers in the league on the board, whether it's, McKinnon, McDavid, Draisaitl, Barkov as well. But maybe we want to implement just a little bit of value into our lineups if we can find it here, AJ. So you got for Carolina, Sebastian Aho. He's $6,500. He's averaging about 14 fantasy points over his last 10 games. Very similar production out of Vancouver's Bo Horvat. So who would you prefer? Where are you going to go?
I think between the two, I would lean towards Horvat due to the matchup with Ottawa, even though Aho has been red hot of late. Horvat, for his part, 12 shots in the last 5 games, averaging a little over 3 minutes of ice time with the man advantage over that stretch. I think he's due, but having said that, for me, I actually really like Pierre-Luc Dubois tonight at just 4,400. He is stuck in an 8-game goal drought, but he's got 4 assists over that stretch, and I think it's a good opportunity to use him.
So, CJ, if there's paying down, AJ said, I'm going to pay down more. I want more value in my lineup. Who do you like here?
Yeah, you can definitely do that. I think this is a good range to target. I mean, Rupe Hintz is typically a guy I like to target as well, but he's got a bad matchup against Carolina tonight. So I think going up to Aho or Horvat makes sense. I would probably prefer Horvat as well. It's really close between these two. I think Aho is definitely the better player for me. But again, Ottawa, it looks like they're probably not going to have Matt Murray in net. He's day to day. And if they're starting their third stringer, I really do kind of have to lean Horvat here. Vancouver's been a little bit thin up front, but Horvat should be playing big minutes, obviously, against the Senators team, who, even regardless of who starts in net, they're still a bad defensive team here. So both these guys are in play, absolutely. I think another guy you can just think about paying right down to, though, is Ryan O'Reilly. Again, Colorado, a little bit of goalie issues as well. Allowed 5 goals the last time these two teams played. O'Reilly been a very proficient point producer over the last month or so. So I definitely like that Dubois call, but O'Reilly is another guy you can think about under 6K.
So that's the center position. On the wing here, Geoff, Brady Tkachuk has just been lights out recently. Obviously, you can make a very easy case to play him, but there are alternatives available to you. In fact, you want to look at Kyle Connor. He's got that on-off pattern right now over his last half dozen games. I guess the schedule would dictate that he is due for a big one, though, here tonight. So how do you feel about that tandem?
I would still prefer Tkachuk. The Senators have looked better over their last few games. I mean, they're 4-2 over their last 6. And realistically, I mean, the Canucks really aren't a better team than Ottawa. I mean, you look at it over a lot of things like expected goal rate and a couple other metrics, especially just recently. I mean, Vancouver's played okay since coming back, but these two teams split the series in their first 2 games. I wouldn't be shocked to see a bunch of goals just because of the Ottawa goalie issue, but I like Tkachuk here. Connor has been more hit or miss, like you said. The Oilers' goaltending situation is pretty solid, even though they do allow a lot of shots on goal. But Winnipeg really hasn't been that good over the last 3 games. So I'd side with Tkachuk here, who, again, this Ottawa's first line, I really like the mojo they've got going. They've got a terrific matchup. Vancouver allows the most shots on goal per game. It's a good spot for a high volume shot guy like Tkachuk. So I think at 7,500, it's fine to pay up that much. It's obviously a little bit lighter. I mean, you can think about a guy like Burakovsky who's going to get a lot of time, assuming Rantanen's out again. But so some good value deeper down. But up top, you should be able to fit into Tkachuk tonight because there's really not that many other wingers to choose from.
AJ, which way are you leaning on the wing?
I'm actually between those two. I like Kyle Connor better. I like the opportunity to pair him up with a PLD and kind of stack those guys together. I'm not sold on Mike Smith. I never have been. I kind of rail on him a lot in some of my other stints, but his one shutout recently was against Winnipeg. So that is obviously a concern there. But, the power play for Winnipeg is 4th best in the league. They're converting at a 25.2 rate for the whole season, and you can get 2 guys that are going to be together on that power play without having to break the bank for like a Mark Scheifele or a Blake Wheeler. So I think I go that way. I do also like Andrei Svechnikov tonight, coming in really cheap, good matchup for the Carolina Hurricanes, and a good opportunity, I think, for him to capitalize on racking up some more points.
Let's go to the blue line, fellas, and AJ will stay with you here. You got for Arizona, Jacob Chikrin, who, looking at his game log of late, you got 10-plus fantasy points, 6 out of his last 7 coming into this one. Coyotes against the Sharks. Of course, Dougie Hamilton coming off of a stupid performance, 30-plus fantasy points. He was ridiculous against Florida last time out. So which way do you want to lean here?
I'm actually going to go neither. I try to avoid paying up real big for defensemen, just a strategy that I generally prefer. Look, in April, nobody has logged more power play ice time per game than Keith Yandel. The points haven't really been there, which is why his salary is just $3,600, but he's getting plenty of opportunities with Aaron Ekblad out of the lineup. I think if that's maybe too high risk for some of the people out there, I also like Cale Makar tonight. He's got a decent matchup with St. Louis, riding a 5-game point streak, and he comes in slightly cheaper than Hamilton or Chikrin.
All right, so I guess the two that we presented here, Geoff, are door number 3 for you as well.
No, I mean, I definitely like the Yandel call. And look, Nashville doesn't have a good penalty kill either. So you could easily see a multi-point night from Keith Yandel. He might go like 7 games without a point, but when he does pop up, he tends to pop up with a couple. So I don't mind paying up on defense tonight. I typically don't do it unless it's a really good spot, but I think it is a really good spot for Chikrin. Again, Arizona, they're in a playoff hunt. Chikrin's playing big minutes. This is a defenseman who legitimately can get you the shots on goal bonus every night. And they're playing the Sharks, which is the main thing. Again, bottom 10 in shots allowed and in the penalty kill. And that's the biggest thing. If it's a good matchup, I think this is fine to pay up for Chikrin here. He's just a solid producer across the board in terms of points, leads the league for defensemen and goals scored as well. So you're really getting the true upside with him. I think this is the kind of matchup where it's okay to pay up for him, but there are other options. I mean, Tyson Barrie's only $5,700. That's his lowest price over his last 10 games. The Jets don't have the greatest penalty kill either, and they certainly haven't been good over the last 3 games. So Barrie is another guy to target there, especially, again, if you're playing Connor McDavid. Barrie's a little bit cheaper tonight. That makes for a good, effective stack since they're both part of the PP1 there.
Let's go DK Sportsbook. Bounce off of DFS here for a moment and take a look at just money line bet tonight. Is there something that you like best in the NHL tonight, Geoff?
Yeah, for me, it's going to be the Panthers. They're the away team. They're taking on the Preds, but I mean, they're only minus 121 on the money line here. And the Predators have played better. I give them credit, but I mean, a lot of it's just been UC Saros just standing on the top of his head. He's cooled off a little bit. Panthers coming in, winners of 5 of the last 7 games. They're 5th in expected goal rate. They've added Sam Bennett to the second line. Alex Barkov has 8 goals in his last 10 games. Like, the Panthers just outmatched the Predators here at every turn. And I'm not really sure why they're only minus 121. I think the Predators getting a little bit too much respect here, probably for the play of Saros, who, like I said, cooled off a little bit. So there's always a little bit of a worry here that, Saros stands on his head again and they, the Predators win like 2-1. But, I think for minus 121, you're getting like a really good price here to take a shot with the Panthers on the money line.
AJ, who's caught your eye tonight on the money line?
Well, I definitely like that call, Geoff, with Nashville. I think that's a solid pick there. On the other side, I actually like Anaheim tonight. I know they have been bad, and there's no arguing that at all. But at plus 140 versus a Kings team that has dropped 4 of their last 5 contests, although that one win was against the Ducks. So that's certainly something to consider there. But you've got Cal Peterson, has struggled a bit of late. Probably going to get the nod again, I would guess. A .902 save percentages in those 5 games is definitely risky. But to get the value at plus 140, I just can't pass that up.
How about your favorite bet overall in the DK Sportsbook tonight, AJ?
I've been talking about the Jets all night, so I got a couple player props in there. You can get Kyle Connor plus 145, Pierre-Luc Dubois plus 230 as anytime goal scorers tonight. That's definitely where I'm looking. The other one I kind of liked was Thomas Chabot, over under 2.5 shots. Take the over there and get him. Vancouver has given up the most shots, as Geoff alluded to, the most shots of any team in the league. So why not take a shot at, that one on the over there?
Moose, what do you got, bud?
Yeah, I mean, I really like that money line play on Florida, obviously. That's probably my top play on there. But for a player prop, I like Phil Kessel over 2.5 shots on goal. You're getting good plus money, right around plus 120 to take the over there on Kessel. He's playing bigger minutes. Again, Arizona, they're going to play Phil the thrill a lot here because they're in a playoff spot, playoff race, playing San Jose, who allows a lot of shots on goal. So I like the plus money there on Phil's over shots on goal total.